What's up, y'all? I'm saying today's Thursday, 27th of February. This is a pre-recorded, stream. So it's happening, y'all. Talking about tapping in. So when you like tap in with yourself, go within yourself, start to be present in the moment, start to meditate with your body, your awareness, go inside your brain, your head, your dialogue, become one, become immersed with yourself, bro. Not in a bad way, like become like self-absorbed, but just tapping in with yourself, be more involved, paying attention to yourself, be more sensible. It like creates a shield around you and it makes you more light and hip to like senses around you. That's why you have these lucid dreams. It's so real, ultra real. You just could notice any little subtle town because you're tapped in. That's what it does. And you just become more light, that you become a magnet because there's like no resistance around you. You're around your auric field, your Taurus field. So things will happen. Like when you're tapping in with yourself, even if you're not even doing anything, you're gonna attract things towards you, whether good or bad. I mean, it should be good because you're not doing anything in malicious intent. You know what I'm saying? So that's gonna happen. It's gonna create a shield around you. When you get around like people, whatever, like you could be in a whole nother reality while these people are in a whole nother reality. Like you could be feeling good while these people could be miserable. Like you gonna feel like $1 million while these people are in survival mode, while they're like depressed or suffering, just miserable. Like you will see it, but you're not gonna feed into it when you see people. It's like you have a shield around you. Like you're gonna see people miserable, but you're not gonna overly like observe it because it's not gonna take a part of you because it creates a shield. Even if you want to, it's just gonna create a way to like protect yourself. That's what it does to your body. That's what it does to you. It creates a shield. You know what I'm saying? You may see people who are this or that, but you're not gonna even bother feeding into it because you already feeling good within yourself, like how you're supposed to feel internally. So you're not gonna even bother. Like even if you do see people who are this, I mean, you should be more empathetic, sympathetic, but you're not gonna even bother that because you realize this is a drain of energy and just there's really no point of that. You're already tapped in unless they tap it with themselves. There's nothing you could really like do. It's just their emotional state, and your emotional state is different. So you see it for what it is. You don't try to change things because you realize things are as they are and it's present. It's just that thing is just in a negative slate or what I've seen, but still what it is. So you don't try to judge it. You just move forward. So you may say a little thing because your ego, your mind, it talks. The dialogue, the monologue, but that's about it. You know, your dreams become more lucid. It becomes more real. You have visions that just come out of nowhere, especially of the past. I don't think you guys should worry about it as much because that's you just your body just reacting to the withdrawals of you ascending and you're changing. You don't got to worry about it or think of it too much. Like, oh, it's this, and people like, nah, you're good. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not paranoid. You're good, bro. You know what I'm saying? Your body's just cleansing yourself. Like you're gonna go through these things. You're leaving your former self, especially of what happened in 2024. So that's gonna do like a number on you, spiritually, because you know what happened last year, how it was, and it's 20, and it's just only catching itself back. Your body's like in a rendering stage. That's why you're gonna have these ultra realistic dreams, visions of this and old people, relations, hosts, old third parties, whatever, you know. It's just gonna come because I guess that old part of yourself is trying to feed itself back. It's trying to trick you to feed into it or think of it too much to just be in that type of slate again. You know what I'm saying? When you're already up. Like once you're tapped in with yourself, you won't really fall off. Like even if you stop like less tapping in, is there's no such thing as not tapping in anymore because once you're tapped in, it creates a shield around your aura. Like you're gonna naturally just feel more light. Even if you don't like you say you missed a day of the tapping in, that's not gonna count because them other days you tapped in and you was going through the phase of your body changing, you know what I'm saying? The cycle, the metamorphosis. So your body is changing, is used to being a certain way, going through that period, these changes, you know. Because if you look at years ago, you was not even the same person. You changed physically, mentally, and spiritually. So if you miss a day of not tapping in, you're good because now you're just like you're in a crystallized body. You know what I'm saying? That's what it does to you. That's what it does to you. You know, you create you more your spiritual. It's like your spiritual body, your astral body, your metaphysical body becomes like in unison. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it does. So it's never not just you untapping in. Once you're tapped in with yourself, it's like you're tapped in. Because when I was tapping in with myself throughout the years, it was an on and off thing. And it's not like where you do something on and you do something off. That's not how it works. When you tap, once you tap in with yourself, it's going to affect your brain long term. That's what it does to your brain. It's a brain shift. Even if you stop, because it puts your brain on pause, because all the programs you went. So even if you stop and on and off, your brain is going to go through a rendering process, even if you stop. So that's why I realized I've been changing. That it's time for me to tap in because I started doing it and I started being more present. And it done something to my brain. It shifts your brain into another way. Unless you just totally just stop tapping in and you just forgot about it all, then maybe. But once you just tap in a couple of times within that frame of year or whatever, you're pretty much gonna tap in with yourself again because you've been doing it. Even if you've been going through, a back and forth with this, not continuing with it, not being consistent, it does something to your brain. You're gonna feel more light. You're gonna be more sensible to energy. You're gonna feel weird or off. You're gonna feel eerie. It's gonna make you tap back in with yourself. You're gonna feel kind of drained. So once you tap in with yourself, bro, you're gonna tap in forever, bro. There's never not tapping in. Say I miss a day of not tapping in, I'm gonna tap in tomorrow or next week. I'm gonna do it all week. It just does something to your brain. So the people who are not tapping in now, they probably never tapped in or they done it for like 5 minutes and then that was it. And now it's like they call it quits. The people who don't tap in now, they stop tapping in. Because once you tapped in and you have multiple shifts, bro, it does something to your brain. It really does, bro. It does something to your brain, bro. You literally become a whole nother person. I'm talking about as far as energy in you. Of course, you everything enhances, but I'm starting to you as an individual, you know? Like yes, you're an individual, like you're a U.S. citizen, but you're a U.S. citizen who knows himself with awareness. That's what you become. Like just that awareness part of yourself, like it's just activated. So once you tap in with yourself, there's no not tapping in. That's why you can't work a job, you can't vibe around the same people because it puts you at a certain wavelength. Like you're tethered somewhere else in a different network. You're in a different consciousness than most people. Like you're just like you're in a different grid. Like you're here in this earth because your physical body is still, toggling here, you know, but you're in a different realm than most people. And most people are caught up in just this everyday life and just, what it comes with and, the drama. You're not, you know what I'm saying? So the people who didn't tap in, like they better tap in right now because it's like now it's like they probably just never tapped in or they tapped in just only like at a bare minimum. So now it's like it wasn't, they probably didn't shift. Right? But once you have at least more than two shifts that I had throughout the years, going through the spiritual symptoms and all that, it's a wrap. You're gonna tap in forever. Like that's what I noticed. Because I don't know if the people who tapped in with themselves really tapped in. Because once you tap in and you go on and off with it, you're gonna go through these shifts and these breakthroughs unless you stop. But there's no really stopping. You hit a rut or you stop doing the habit, but it's gonna come because it's gonna come back because your brain goes through a shift and a change. You become more light. You become more sensible to things. It does something to you you're gonna find a way back to this, being drawn to this again, tapping in with yourself. So that's why I'm tapped in now in 2025. In 2024 was a little hard and the air was dense, and I just kept doing it, even if it was painstaking. I just kept pushing myself, no matter what. You know what I'm saying? And now it's like it's easy for me because it doesn't. It's something that it does to your brain. It slows it down in the program. So now it's like nothing really affects you as much compared to like the average person. Like something may happen to you, it may be whatever, but it's not that you brush it off, you just move on from it. You understand the higher nature of it because you're in awareness, but people they stay on it forever. You may think about it and talk about it or whatever, but then you just go on because you have that higher awareness. It gives you like a spacesuit to like go through these things. It's not that it gives you endurance that you just forcibly just have to endure through it because it's life and life is hard. No, you just go through it basically. Just creates this invisible wall where you could just walk through it. I'm saying don't even have to think about it as much. That's what it does when you tap in with yourself. And it's just easy. And I feel things just aligning, just you be getting visions, you be getting ringing in your ears, you be getting, synchronicities, matching numbers, people, places, things, events. You be saying something that happened, you be talking about something, thinking about it that happens, or just tapping in with yourself. That's what it's going to do. Especially now in 2025, I felt the clearance in the beginning of the year. Like it's really, I don't want to say time, but it's really the moment where, you could actually tap in. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I've been doing it. I'm not wishing for people to just tap in because they would have to like, be tapped in already. Unless they want to. You know what I'm saying? But it's like once you tapped in with yourself for a minute for through these years, your brain goes through a change. You know what I'm saying? And you become more sensible to things. And if you stop doing it, it's gonna like make you draw back to it because you're just sensible. You're gonna have to clear that energy up, whether being more alone, spending more time in solitude, introspecting, journaling, whatever you're doing. And you're gonna be drawn to this again. The people who 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 quote unquote tapped in and then stopped, they most likely never tapped in again. They probably only had one shift, one mental shift, and that's it. Because once you go through more than two, it's kind of a wrap, unless they're like on a certain substance or they've been hijacked, because it doesn't make any type of sense. Because your brain literally changes. Like I can't explain it because once you go through more than two shifts, because there's a law of two, it's over for you. Your brain goes through a shift and you're gonna get drawn back to this unless you just fall off the map somewhere. You get kidnapped. I don't know what happened to you because it's impossible. It's literally impossible. Because once you're tapped in with yourself, you're tapped in. There's never not going back to this. Even though I had times where I was like, life was just whatever, life was just life, and everything was just stagnant and just negative. I found my way back to this because I was tapped in with myself through the years, and I went through the spiritual breakthroughs and symptoms, and it makes it does something to your brain where you're gonna be drawn back to this, whether you know it or not. So the people who didn't, or who just stopped, they never did, or they probably only went through like one shift and that was it. But me, I just kept doing it throughout the like months or whatever, and then it just does something to your brain because it just reverberates your brain. That's what it does. It's like an echo. It creates an echo affecting your brain. You know what I'm saying? Like your brain is going by fast because these programs, these feelings or cells moving and your environment is going 100 miles per hour. Like when you tapped in with yourself, when you're trying to, you're spending more time in solitude, you're lowering down the noise. It does something to your brain, bro. Like it slows you down, like, and it's gonna make you, be drawn back into this. That's just what I think. Like once you have that major shift, one or two times, it's done. And I did throughout that week span when I was doing it back in like the year 2020, 2020. You know, so yeah, like once you're tapped in now, you become in like a new body. You become more clear, more light. So you become your own space where you're just floating around with life. You're walking, you're talking, but it's from like high awareness instead of the programming. You're able to distinguish from yourself in the program. You know what I'm saying? And you're not so attached to it or moved by it because you're moving with the high awareness. You're with this body and everything's like, but it's like you're moving with that awareness. It does something to you. That's why your dreams are ultra realistic because you've been, tapping in with yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's like it creates that protection. Unless somebody were to come to you, they would have to like, you know, whatever, be tapped in themselves or I don't know. But like tapping in does something to you. You just become more aligned, more clear, light. You just have these nostalgic feelings. Even if it's the past, because it's just nostalgia. It's the feeling. It's that feeling of just from the high awareness. It's that gratitude. It's just the ever present feeling, and it's just going through your pores. So it doesn't matter if it's the past. Like you may think something nostalgic because that's what it does. It's timeless. It's beyond. That's how you feel a certain way. Like if you listen to a certain song, like that's what it does, man. That's its true being, man. I guess the things now are designed to take you backwards, like how the music is and what they push, the content. It's designed to put you in this low base thinking. That's what it's designed. So if you're not tapped in, then you're gonna fall for that, I guess. You know what I'm saying? So it's really that time if you want to tap in. But if you already been tapping in, even it's like, off and on, like you had more than two shifts, you're gonna be stay tapped in. If you only had one or a minor one, then you're probably gonna just stay stuck because your brain didn't fully, change. It didn't create that gray matter that, in in your brain. But other than that, once you have those two shifts, those breakthroughs, you're gonna stay on and stay tapped in. It's gonna make you be drawn to this again. You're gonna be more introspective, spend more time in solitude. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be honest with yourself. You're gonna do this, and you're gonna be tapping in. So that's what it is, you guys.